folks, Jonathan here. I figured we'd do a little video on both this and the Franklin today, because we're not going to get the first drive on the Franklin yet, but we will eventually. But this car here, let me see, I've just got the steering mop back on it because we was wanting to make sure we cleared the brake lines. Look at that. So we've got the brackets on, brand new brake line. I used that new stuff first time I've used it, the copper nickel. Really soft, kind of scary. I hope it's, you know, works fine, works all right. But we've got it running down, running across the cross member, and then teed in right there. And of course, one line to the left front, one line to the right front, and then the other line to the master cylinder. So that's done. Drive shaft is done. I've got to weld it yet. It is dial indicated in, good and straight. A lot of the other stuff done. We've got the plug wires tied up like we want them, and that'll keep them in order. And then Scott done that, and then, you know, of course our headers come out over top of that. And I've still got welding to do on my steering arm and, you know, all that, but that's just on there temporary. Same way with the brake pedal and the clutch pedal. I just put it on long enough to get things straightened out the way I need them. What we'll do is run a brace from here out, around and back to the frame, and that'll brace this, but it'll also give me a place to run this cross member from here to bolt into. We'll run it across. And I got Noah working on cleaning and getting the wheels ready to paint for the front. I was going to buy some new Torque Thrust 2 mags, but I decided to hold off on it. Trying not to spend any money on it. But alright, well, let me show you what we're doing on the Franklin. Alright, so here's the tire situation on our Franklin. It's got 650s on the back, 600s on the front. The front tires are good, so I went ahead and ordered two 600s for the, well, we're probably going to put them on the front and then take them off and put them back here. But what we've got and what we run into, one thing is you can see that rim separated, and this one I went ahead and put my tool on it. I don't know, some of you may not see one of these tools. Let me get to where we can film it, maybe out of the sun. Okay, this actually will bend this rim in or bring it in when you put the tire on, and it'll also expand it out when you want to expand it out for the tire. Now somebody has put a bolt in here and welded it in. They've done a really crappy job, so that's coming off. And then there's a loop that should be on here that's missing, so we'll have to weld it up and fix that. So we've got a little bit of work to do on the rim, but otherwise the rim's really solid. There's no rust or anything, and the front ones do look good. I think they're just fine. We just got to deal with our back ones. So like I said, we'll probably pull that off and put it to the back, and then use the back rims on the front and get the tires on. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to drive it today. I'll probably just be able to move it around maybe. We'll see how that works out. But I'll show you more on this as we do it, so you'll see how that tool works and how these things go on. These are split rims, but I don't have much of a choice on this old stuff. So. Alright, I'll show you. The tire should be here just a little bit. So here's what we're dealing with on this side. We do have all three locks, and we do have all three lug bolts and nuts, so we're good to go there. But somebody has you know, had this off, so we'll have to jack it up and check everything out. I think everything's fine. The spokes in these wheels are really nice, so I don't think there's going to be any issues. Alright, okay folks, we got the tires in for the Franklin. Kind of got lucky on these. These are 620s Firestones. I'm sure they're Coker repops, but believe it or not, I bought these from two completely different places, and they were both new old stock and been on the shelf for years. So I was able to get them at a really good price in comparison to buying them straight through Coker Tire. And come from two different states and two different places, but they're exact same tire. So, and then I had to get some tubes also. Got them through Coker Tire. Anyway, we'll get started on getting them on. Okay, another thing I want to say about this starter situation that everybody keeps talking about that I was terrible on this starter and I abused the starter, and we killed the starter and all that other good stuff. What we done was crank on this thing for 3 days. There's the starter. I don't even think it ever got hot. I never seen a bit of smoke come off the starter. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't doubt if it'd keep right on lasting. And somebody mentioned it, and we'll tell you the pure facts of this. This is a 6-volt starter. I was cranking it on 12 volts. 6-volt starter is made for more amps. The wires are bigger. They really like more voltage, and they can handle it. You know, as you've seen, I mean, you can say what you want. We beat on the starter or whatever, but the point is if you took that video and you expanded it out over the 3 days when we would come down and crank on this, and then go back and work on the Roadster, and then come back and crank on a little bit as the battery was getting charged, it didn't even begin to seem like we turned it over like we did when we edited the video and I cut it in there and, you know, cranking and cranking and cranking. And now, you know, we let it cool down between every time, and I mean, let it sit long enough battery charge up, so, you know, there was no issues there. So for anybody that thinks that we was, you know, the video makes it look like we were a lot harder on the starter than what we really was. If I thought we was going to burn the starter up or anything like that, we would have just waited, put the tires on it and pulled it off. You know, we wasn't hard on that starter, and I've been a lot harder than that on the other ones. So anyway, we're going to get at trying to see if we can get some wheels on this thing. Okay, we got one of the front wheels done and on. The white walls on these tires, these are Silvertown Bev Good Wrench. They're not ground tires where they've been, you know, where somebody took them and ground them. They're factory original white walls, but they're just not cleaning up really well. So we might find something to try to put on them. Tires are not in terrible shape. We're going to run them. I did put the Jaguar hubcaps back on. Now I didn't make it where they stayed. You know, I put them on like they're supposed to be. And we're going to go on and put them on front and back, as long as we keep these rims on here anyway. So we got the other ones cleaned up. We got to break them down and paint the rims yet. These tires cleaned up really well. So got to get these rims cleaned up and painted, and that'll be that. And it'd be nice to get all these done. And I bought new lug nuts for it to put decent lug nuts on all the wheels. Everything, trying to keep everything nice and safe and all that good stuff. Okay, working on these rims. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. I know what we need to do on this one to fix it. This one here is a different setup. Let me go ahead and, I think we may have a bend on it or something, but let me go ahead and stretch this thing out, see if we can figure out what the issue is. All right. Okay, the only problem I see with this one is this is bent up. This needs to go down into this slot, and this needs to be able to turn around and lock it. So we just got a bend on it where somebody was doing it wrong. So we'll get it cleaned up and try to get it back where it's supposed to be and get this loosened up to where it's working. That's the little latch that goes around. So anyway, we'll figure it out. Most of the time when this stuff is like this, it's because people don't have one of these tools. It pulls it in and it also will push it out. And so when it pulls it in, it overlaps it. So everybody goes to prying and beating on this stuff, and that's what you end up with. So I don't think I've done one rim yet on the L car or anything else that I hadn't had to repair or work on before I got it back together. So see what we can do on this one. Okay, the Studebaker tire stretcher sure makes things go a lot easier. Noah, he's playing in the baby powder. He's a little out of control with it. He'll be alright. Noah, does it remind you when you was a little kid? What was that, yesterday?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay folks, so here's what our rims look like painted. And they're just going to have to stay that way because I just don't want to buy rims. There's our Jaguar hubcaps, which we'll use on the back also. It's about all we've done on this for now, but working on some tires on the other car here. Let me show you. Alright, so what we've done is took the two wheels from the front, because the tread was a little bit more aggressive, and cleaned them up just a little bit, moved them to the back. Now them are brand new tires, they're just like brand new. We're going to need to get them cleaned up some more, but I mean they're not too bad. But we got them moved to the back, and then this one's done. I had to go through and fix that rim. That's the one I showed you the rim on. All finished up and ready to go. And then we've got one more to do on this side. And we got some bearing issues on this side. I don't think it's got the right bearing in it. This is the problem. So we're gonna have to do some work on that. But like I said, we just do these on the back, so I need to get to work on the other rim, fixing it, so I can get it mounted, and then we can go from there. I picked up some gas for it, so maybe tomorrow I can possibly drive it a little bit, maybe up and down the driveway at least. Oh, another thing, you know, I don't show everything I do when I do these first starts. I mean, I can, but I just don't do it because it takes so long. I go through and edit a lot of stuff out. It actually took me about 3 hours to edit the video for that first start. But one thing about it, I do take the plugs out. I put oil in these cylinders 3 different times and sprayed them down good. I sprayed all the rockers down good, all the valves around the valves, so you know they wouldn't get dry and stick. And we took care of the oil and checked everything. I did not check the antifreeze in the radiator or the water in the radiator. I wasn't too worried about that. I'm sure somebody will still get mad at me about not checking it, but I didn't check it. Didn't put none in it either. A couple other things I've got to do on this thing. I've got to change the lower generator mount a little bit, because this 12-volt generator, the face is made a little bit different, but I mean it's not anything major. We've got the right length belt on it, so we will do that. Still got to do some work on the grill, getting it on. I don't have it bolted at the bottom yet. And let me see, we've got the brake lines on where I want them. They clear everything. There's going to be no issues with that. And then we've got to do the friction shocks. And what I've got is I've got the links, the dog bone link. Here's the dog bone link. And we're actually going to cut that. We're going to take the pins out. We're going to cut it and reverse it. And this will actually mount. The dog bone will mount in the original location on the ball, and this will go on the side of the frame here. And then you just tighten it up and give it some friction so it keeps you from having too much rebound. And then we've still got the mounts for the headlights to put on. And that's about it up here. Anybody that's had any experience with the copper nickel brake lines, let me know. They're kind of scary because they're so soft. That's what bothers me about them, but maybe they'll be okay. All right, let me we'll see if I can get this tire packed back in there with the flap on the inside. That's becoming an issue here, right? Well, no matter what I do, I cannot seem to get the flap inside. The tube is too small on the ID, so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. I think I will pump it up and let air stay in it overnight. Try it again tomorrow. We'll see how that works out. All right. Okay, we'll let it sit there like that overnight. Hopefully that'll take care of it. And we've still got to fix this rim. And we'll get on it. Looks like I got baby powder all over my feet. Okay, so I think we're going to call it quits for the night. It's late. I was hoping he's going to be able to at least take it up and down the driveway once, but it's not going to work out right now. I do have some plug wires ordered. We're going to put them back where they're supposed to be. It's going to be a chore to pull them through there, but we'll get them. And everything else is working out really well. Probably pull the gas tank off pretty soon and check it out. I'm still looking for headlight bezels. 2 of them. I think they're 11 inch. I still hadn't measured them, but I think that's what they said they come with. And 2 more caps. I think I found 1 cap for the back. So when we get them, we'll get them on. And we just want to make it complete and together. and then we will ride it just a little bit. I know people said please don't make it into a rat rod. Well, trust me, I've got no intentions of making this into a rat rod. I like it the way it is. I probably won't restore it. Just straighten everything up on it, get it good and as nice as I can get it, and then just drive it. It's going to be a fun one to drive. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, and for anybody that watched Scott's channel, a lot of people seen me smoking on there and thought that I started back smoking. All that video was taken before I stopped. Today is 2 weeks. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. It's not, it's not that big of a deal. It is to me, but I mean, there's no reason for it to be a big deal to anybody else. I've done it for 35 years, and every day of my life, basically, for 35 years, and then, just up and quit. I was having some issues there for the little over the first week with my tongue. It feels a lot better now. I'm not having so many issues with that. I was offered some nicotine gum and nicotine pills, but I refused to take them. I'm not going to take them. The hospital offered me nicotine patches, but the problem is I want to get off nicotine. It's not just smoking that I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to get away from the addiction of nicotine. And to me, stopping smoking and then using a patch or using a gum or something like that is not going to solve the problem. And when I run out of gum, I'm still going to want a cigarette because of the nicotine. So I want to get rid of the nicotine addiction altogether, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think that if you want to stop smoking, you're going to stop smoking. If you don't want to, or in your head, you're not sure that you want to, then you're not going to. So I went into this with 100% plans to stop smoking. I haven't smoked a cigarette. Not going to smoke one. And like I said, I'm not trying to make this into a big deal. It's not a big deal. There's plenty of people stop smoking, stop drinking and everything else. And it's just something I wanted to do for myself. So that's the way it goes. But anyway, we'll be back on it tomorrow, and I'll show you some more, hopefully, of this moving around up and down the driveway a little bit. And we're going to continue to work on the Roadster, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe I don't even want to guess on paint on when, but we're just going to continue to work it as hard as we can. Appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, bye.